Recording in progress. With this background, no, I don't do cool transitions like that. It would be really cool though, right? If I could like transition from my old one to like where I am now. We're back home. We're back home for a little bit. So in the basement of my old house with all of my Christmas stuff and getting ready to talk about more MLS as my dog goes crazy. I don't know if we can hear it.
It's still home then.
It's still home. Grace is still trying to be real tough. MLS Cup finishes yesterday. New York City with their first title is what we're going to talk about today. I was about to start going into a monologue, but we're going to talk about it in depth a little bit. We're also going to talk about some MLS best 11 snubs, man. There were a lot of them that really missed out. And I think Extra Time did a pretty good job of they made like 3 or 4 of them. And I think that's probably the amount that you would need to highlight everybody who had a really good year. That being said, we should just jump into scarf of the week real quick. I've got 5 new scarves, and this is the team that I think is going to have the best rebound from last year. What do you think it is?
It's a good question. Let me pull up a list.
No, don't pull anything up. Just guess.
The way that you think, I'm going to say Toronto.
It is. It's TFC, baby.
I'm assuming you're assuming that they're getting Insigne.
I'm assuming they're getting Insigne. They've got Bob Bradley. I think this is going to be a really good year for them to come back. But that is for another episode that's coming out in like a couple weeks, really, because this season's about to turn around hella quick. What you got?
Well, it's only fitting. I just wanted to help to annoy you even more ahead of your monologue. So for the championship, got to bring out the NYCFC scarf.
And just like that, this is Connor's last episode, everybody. Wish him well, as he will never speak on this podcast ever again. You absolute melon.
It's a solo podcast now then, I guess.
I mean, listen, I can make it.
Sure.
So here's the deal. It was bound to happen that they were going to win something. Does it hurt that they beat us to it? Kinda. It hurts less when you take into consideration the fact that just 2 or 3 years ago, the head of Red Bull Global came over to the United States to tell us to our faces that the only purpose our team has is developing young talent. So when you look at the fact that they spent more on one player than our entire roster, bar one player maybe, it stings a little bit less. When you look at the fact that we're moving in the right direction, right? So I say that as somebody who has watched an entire offseason for New York Red Bull be 3 homegrown signings, and that's it, and some draft picks. Last year, we went out and made 12 signings, most of them either, utilizing the Red Bull system or going out to a high level Scottish team and taking some of their players. I feel we're moving in the right direction. So it hurts. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh man, I don't care at all. Right. Nobody likes the fact that their rivals win a cup before them. On a completely separate note, it's still the second best title that you can win in America. We've had that conversation. I'll stand by that till the day I die. So, good on them. I am not super worried about. A lot of people are in here right now saying, oh, Red Bull are done for. We're not going to have any, support. Nobody's going to care about us. Nobody cared about us anyway, man. We barely fill out half our stadium. It doesn't matter. The real ones are going to stay. The real ones are all we need. I think it will be good for us. It might wake us up a little bit to be like, hey, we can't let this happen again. And at the end of the day, we can say all that we want about, their run. they probably got the easiest path through, considering that they played they played Atlanta, who was probably their best win up until MLS Cup, a New England team that didn't play in a month, and the Phillies USL team. So I'm not heartbroken because the MLS Cup is a crapshoot. Everybody knows that for this exact reason, right? If you look at the teams that they played, you literally played two teams that were half strength, and that they would have gotten demolished in regular season. So I'm not heartbroken by it. Congratulations to them. I am not happy for them, but I will give credit where credit's due. Valentin Castellanos balled out this year, and he basically single-handedly dragged them to MLS Cup, and good on him. Well done. But I'm not super heartbroken by it. And that is my little monologue, which will grow as you make comments that I need to yell at you for.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I can jump in here now. Leave it to an RBNY fan to make this final all about them, because this had
all right, we're gonna cut you off right there. We're gonna cut you off right there.
No. You had your monologue. I stayed quiet. Now it's my turn to
play in this final, and 95% of the tweets after the game were about us from the NYC fans. Don't say we made it about us. They made it about us. Stop.
I'm seeing tweets about Red Bull needing to sell the team. Like, this final has nothing to do with you. This final is about NYC and it's about Portland. But I still see all these tweets talking about how Red Bull are done for and Red Bull should just bin the entire team. Like, give it at least 24 hours before you start freaking out about this stuff. Like, I mean, you literally just mentioned about how you think this is the lesser trophy. You guys have won, in your eyes, the more valuable trophy multiple times at this point. So why do you care about this? I will always make the MLS Cup argument against you just because that's the trophy that we have, and I like seeing you get angry. But I wholly understand that, especially now with the single game playoff, it's totally just a competition of who's the hottest team. It's not the best. New England would have won it then. New England was far and away the best team the entire season, in which case they should have won MLS Cup. But NYCFC won it, who were not even in the picture for Supporter Shield. I mean, they were up and down a lot this season. So clearly MLS Cup is just a competition of who's the hottest team at the moment, and in this case, NYCFC was. I will say, I think it was fun to tease NYC about having an easy road to the MLS Cup. I don't think it's as easy as people are giving credit for. I understand that they had the walk game against Philly, essentially, which I will stand by the fact that I think a fully healthy Philly team absolutely takes them out. However, I understand New England didn't play for a month, but that is still the best team in the league by far this season. They still were able to beat them. It's not like New England were, like dropping tons of players through injuries and all that stuff. Like, they got it done against a fully healthy New England team. They got it done against Atlanta, who was a strong team to end the season. I understand Atlanta didn't show up in the playoffs, but they still got the job done. And then they played a Portland team who was red hot in the West. I don't know why Portland just didn't show up in the final, but they took them out fair and square. So I think they got lucky with Philly, but otherwise I think they got the job done against the teams that were at least decently strong. I'm not going to say they had the hardest route to get there, but I don't think that they should have this cup written off as like, oh, you just got lucky, like a lucky run. I think they deserved it. I think they earned it. Sean Johnson was really great during this playoffs as well. I mean, he won 2 penalty shootouts that you definitely like that. He's earned it. He's earned to win this title. And I agree that Tati definitely dragged this team to getting them to MLS Cup finals, like 100%. Tati really helped them out this season. And when he's sold, they're really going to feel that impact. I fully believe that. Yeah, I'll let you rebuttal whatever I had to say. You can go on your Red Bull rant again.
Honestly, there's not much. I want to make it very clear I take nothing away from the game that they won yesterday. To go to Portland, who is the hottest team in the league, at home, in front of Timbers Army, take the lead, nearly hold on, then have strength and courage to stay strong and win in a penalty shootout. Brilliant. Brilliant. And I agree with you that a lot of fans are overhyping this as DEFCON. Is DEFCON 1 the worst one or DEFCON 5? I don't know which way it goes. Whichever one is the worst.
Whatever's the worst one.
Whichever one's the worst. That's where we're at in Red Bull world, which it's not. End of the day, it's not like we were gaining fans every year. It's not like we were selling stadiums out. It's not the end of the world. Okay? Now, what Red Bull now needs to do is show up. They need to show up and prove that they don't just care about money. And by doing that, and I would like to happily announce, Lewis Morgan has officially been traded from Inter Miami to the New York Red Bulls. So that is a direct Kyle Duncan replacement or a second striker replacement. They can use him in a lot of different ways. But it is a step in the right direction. I don't think you're seeing the ownership of 2018, 2019, 2020 who are just, oh yeah, let's just sign a bunch of homegrowns. If they turn out great, we'll buy them, and that's the price of MLS Cup anyway. These guys are in it to win it, and I'm dare I say excited to watch what this team becomes, because I think Struber's got a clear mindset of what he wants to do. The man was linked to the Man United assistant job before our Lord and Savior Chris Armas took it. He's got a clear and decisive idea. It's just, I'm damn near excited for it. That being said, you're right. This isn't about Red Bull. We've made it there because I'm a Red Bull fan and City won and whatever, but this is about City performing way above what they needed to do at the right time. So I give them credit. I give them all the credit in the world, because I think it's not easy. Because to be fair, you have to think about it. They went on the road 3 times and won. And I get that they might not have had the hardest trip to Philly. Going to New England, as you mentioned, they're still the best team in the league. That's not easy, no matter how many days they have off. Going to Portland is extremely difficult. There's a lot there that they need to be spoken for. Sean Johnson is a cult hero. What a legend to step into 2 penalty shootouts and be an absolute monster. Tati Castellanos always finds a way to put the ball in the back of the net. He just does. You cannot fault what the team did. No matter who their owners are, no matter who their players are, no matter the rivalry, they put up the fight that they needed to put up. Plain and simple. So I give them that credit. What will be interesting is to see what their roster looks like next year. Tati's gone. If Tati doesn't get sold for $6 million plus, either the world's not watching or somebody broke the simulation, because he's got to go. He's too good. Likewise, I think James Sands might be on his way out. Sean Johnson, I think, stays. Your center backs are a year older. Do you have a backup in mind? You're going to probably buy down Maxi, and you're going to sell or not take back Matriza. So you're going to have DP spots to play with. So the roster shape is going to be very interesting, and that's a whole nother episode in and of itself. But I want to put it clear on the airwaves for people who have made it this far, because my guess is they might have clicked off after my rant. But if you made it this far, I want to make it clear. I give them credit for what they did. Because, and here's the other thing, they went through injuries too, right? We can't even say that they were the healthiest team. They lost Tinnerholm and they lost Keaton Parks, 2 of their massive players. Alfredo Morales stepped up big time. Tavon Gray kind of stepped up big time. I'm still not sold on the guy, but MLS Gone Wild loves this guy. I'm not, but that's just me. But credit to them for fighting through adversity, for being a team instead of a bunch of individuals and winning the first title in their history. Where they're going to put their banner is beyond me. I'm guessing over right field somewhere, but I don't know. I just had to get one more dig in there.
Yeah, you just drape it over the Lou Gehrig statue. Something like that. Find the Babe Ruth statue, just wrap it around him.
Before we kick on, Jalen Lindsay traded to Charlotte FC. 100K in GAM, 225K excess in very attainable performance incentives, and a 15% sell-on clause.
That's pretty wild when you compare it to the money Red Bull paid to Lewis Morgan.
It really depends on how they use him, because not to go back off topic, but if Red Bull use him as a second striker, it's a lot better than if they paid that much money for an outside back. And that is because you can easily go out and spend that sort of money on a designated player and have him perform like Gonzalo Verón. But you know this guy can ball. So let's use him right. I will be keeping us up to date. We are in the MLS half-day transfer window. So I will keep us up to date on all our things. Wow. Unless you have anything else to say about MLS Cup.
Yeah. I think I'll give you one good thing. The one thing that you'll probably be happy about.
Sure.
So I was out yesterday. I live in New York City. I could tell you for a fact there was zero hype. I saw zero advertising, marketing, zero NYCFC apparel anywhere that I went yesterday. And I went over to actually where the Barclays Center is. So it was very busy over there. A lot of people. Did not see a single NYCFC piece of gear anywhere. I just wanted to point this out because if this were pretty much any other New York team, whether that be Jets, Giants, Yankees, Islanders, Rangers, it would be all over the place. All over the place. There would be gear everywhere. But like if this is, let's just say football, for the sake of it being one game. If this were Super Bowl Sunday and the Jets or the Giants were in the Super Bowl, you would see people wearing stuff everywhere. You'd see marketing for it everywhere. I did not see a single NYC. I saw one bit of soccer gear, and it was a Red Bull shirt. That's it. That's all I saw. I saw one Red Bull shirt. Did not see anything NYC yesterday. They were in the championship. This is the MLS Super Bowl, and there was nothing.
Yep. And that's where we're at as a soccer country. And that's completely besides the point. But again, not the worst thing in the world. What in the heck? So Pablo Cisniega, goalkeeper for LAFC, also moving to Charlotte, 50,000 in GAM with an additional 50,000 in incentives. But the crazier one, Nashville just got $500,000 in GAM for 2 international spots.
From who? Charlotte?
From Charlotte.
Is that how much is an international
spot?
spot?
No, international spots at most are 100K. Additionally, we reserve the right to swap first-round picks with Charlotte in the 2023 MLS Super Draft. What? Charlotte are getting fleeced. Who is in their ownership group right now? We need to have a conversation.
Wait a minute. So Nashville can now get the number 1 pick in the draft. Is that what that's saying?
That's what it sounds like. Well,
on top of 500.
It's 2023.
Okay, so probably still a pretty high pick.
Yeah. Red Bull paid 1.2 mil for Lewis Morgan. That's confirmed. Edward Atuesta also on his way out to Palmeiras.
Okay. That really sucks for LAFC. LAFC are going to have to rebuild now. This team is getting broken down.
You got to think that they're going to have DP spots to play with.
I would not be surprised to see Vela gone this offseason.
We talked about that. I know. This is wild. I love the half-day transfer window. Might be the best transfer window of all time. Houston Dynamo have acquired Daniel Steres from the LA Galaxy for a 3rd-round pick. That's a steal. Houston Dynamo, Tim Parker, teenage Hadebi.
Yeah, but it doesn't make them any better.
Houston to the top of the West.
Yeah, that's what you thought last year too. How did that work out?
Has this episode just turned into updates for the half-day trade window?
We'll have to just keep note of these, and then we'll do like a full.
We'll do a full breakdown at some point. We're gonna do a whole silly season episode. It'll be great. But let's talk about MLS Best 11 this year.
Sure.
Pretty easy in terms of the people who made it. I don't really have a lot of gripes about it. It's more about the people who didn't make it. Matt Turner, goalkeeper. Walker Zimmerman, Yemar Gomez Andrade, and Miles Robinson in the back, with Hani Mukhtar, João Paulo, Carlos Hill, and Tejan Buchanan in the midfield, with Raul Ruiz-Diaz, Valentin Castellanos, and Gustavo Bo up top. Not a single one of those doesn't deserve to be there. Unless you have other thoughts.
It's all just the award finalists. That's it.
Correct.
Goalkeeper of the year, 3 defender finalists, and then MVP finalists, and 1 young player, Ruiz-Diaz, and Gustavo Bo. And that's it. So yeah, I completely agree. Like, I don't have any gripes with it. Obviously, you can't fit just unlimited amount of players in a best 11. There's probably some players that could, like, depending on your opinion, be in there as opposed to the guys that are actually in there, which I guess is what we're going to talk about.
Correct. And what I'm thinking is we go position by position, if that's cool with you.
Yeah,
Just
that's
talk about some people. So we kind of touched on this when we were doing our
the
reactions
awards.
to the ends of the awards.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's go ahead and you want to start with the goal? Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the top. Let's start with some attackers.
No. We got to start at the back. Back to the front.
That's boring. You don't need to.
The attackers is the fun part.
Oh, fine. All right. So let's talk goalkeepers. William Yarborough
about why Carlos Cornell should be there.
Carlos Cornell should absolutely be at least in the consideration. Quick pause. So going into goalkeepers here, we've the 3 finalists for goalkeeper of the year: Matt Turner, William Yarborough, Joe Willis. Joe Willis should definitely be in this conversation. There's no question about that. I think he was obviously underrated yet again for goalkeepers in general. The man is fantastic. William Yarborough, not heartbroken that he's not anywhere near here. I don't think he's that good. But that's just me. Then you're looking at somebody like, I don't know, Carlos Cornell playing every single game. Connor's going to go into some advanced stat that nobody cares about, even though Carlos Cornell is a single reason we made it to the playoffs anyway.
Whatever you say.
Does Jonathan Bond deserve to be in this conversation? Maybe. I can't put Marcinkowski. So I'm looking at just games played right now. So if let's go save percentage. Let's sort out, or by number of saves, right? Jonathan Bond. So the first goalkeeper that made the playoffs with the most saves was William Yarborough. Doesn't matter. Tyler Miller, 102. Matt Turner, 101. Joe Willis, 100. And then you've got, where'd he go? Carlos Cornell at 89. If I have to pick so what do you want to do here? You want to pick number 2 and number 3? What do you want to? How many do we want to talk about?
I guess however many you think should be in the conversation.
I mean, there are a lot of goalkeepers I'd put in the conversation, but end of the day, the goalkeeper I would put the most, I'd put Joe Willis at number 2. I would put Carlos Cornell at number 3. Then I might put so if are we talking just regular season? Because if we're talking playoffs, Sean Johnson's in that conversation too.
How much did they actually weigh this?
I don't think they did at all. So
yeah. So then let's just go regular season then.
All right. I guess if I'm gonna go give my others, it'd be Joe Willis, Carlos Cornell, and if I had to pick a third, so we'll do 3 for each spot. If I had to pick a third, it would be oh gosh. I guess Andre Blake would have to go in there, wouldn't he?
But you're gonna miss him. I was about to go on a
Yeah.
rant.
No, Andre Blake needs to be in there. So Andre Blake only played 26 games, but that's besides the point.
It's not his fault. He had to miss some for international.
Yeah, I'll go Cornell. I'll go Willis, Cornell, Andre Blake is 1, 2, 3, who should be in that conversation.
Okay.
What about you? What are your thoughts here?
I just want to start off by saying I know you love to make fun of the advanced stat that I like for goalkeeping. You love to make fun of it, but if you look at who is at the top and bottom of that stat, you would probably value the stat more. If you had to guess, who do you think was the lowest in that stat in the entire league?
In which one? The advanced one with like saves, but saves per like
Yeah, it's
expected or whatever.
Yeah, it's like saves over expected goals, something like that. Who do you think did the worst in that stat in the league? Take a guess.
Is there a minimum appearance rating?
I mean, he played a decent enough games.
I'll say it's Marco Maric, but I'd say Steve Clark if we're talking playoffs. But that's another story. But
we're not talking playoffs. Steve Clark was actually really high up on this list.
I know, which is wild about how he let him all the. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Lowest on this, and it's by far, it's not even close, is Kenneth Vermeer.
That tracks.
He has a minus 8.5. And the next closest, by the way, it's Teton. So you're doing great, FCC. Has a minus 5.6. Like Vermeer almost has a 3-point advantage. It's crazy. He was horrible, according to this. But I just wanted to mention that because William Yarbrough is also really far down this list with a minus 2.5. So it kind of tracks for what you're saying, and that he's just not as good as people give him the credit for. I think it's weird because I think the 3 guys who won the Golden Gloves won it because they had strong defenses in front of them. And I think that this spot in the best 11 should have gone to Andre Blake. That's my opinion. I think Andre Blake had the strongest season out of the goalkeepers. It's like the exact reverse. I know we talked about this before, but this is the exact reverse of last year where Blake won it, but it should have been Turner. And now Turner won it, but in my opinion, it should have been Blake. Blake had, it's hard to compare stats wise with Blake because he missed a bunch of games. I think mainly due to international duty. So he only got 26 games in where he had I think he was 1 off of the clean sheet for Golden Gloves in 8 less games. That is crazy. So in my opinion, yeah, if you give him the full season, just like you did the other 3 guys, he's easily going to win Golden Gloves. And in that case, his saves numbers is going to go up. His save percentage was already pretty good. He's 7th highest in that percentage. And in my favorite statistic, he's the 2nd highest. So in my opinion, Blake should be there. I would say I'm kind of tempted to go Joe Willis as my other one. I want to go Joe Willis. And then my last honorable mention one, I want to throw this in here just because it's kind of fun. Why not? I'm going to go with Maxime Crepeau.
I thought about him too.
Just, I don't know if he's necessarily deserving of being in there. Like, I would never give him the best 11 spot, but I think he deserves some recognition because I do think he had a strong year. So why not throw some Maxime Crepeau in there?
For sure. Before we move on to defenders, Inter Miami, as soon as I sent Lewis Morgan out the door, have signed Jean Mota, a Brazilian midfielder from Santos through 2024. Nashville has acquired Teal Bunbury from New England.
I like that for them.
That's a
Do you know what they gave up or
I don't know what they gave up yet. I'm still looking for updates, but that looks like it might be it for now. But yeah, that is our half-day transfer window update. I'll see if I can find some more detail while we move on to defenders. Let's talk outside backs, left or right. We'll go ahead and like kind of group them together.
Okay. That's
you can
fine.
start. Sorry, before you start.
Yeah.
150K max in GAM, 75 plus 75 if he meets certain base performance.
This is for Bunbury.
Yep, that's a good deal.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep,
I don't think he's going to start, but I think he's a great option off the bench and to rotate in if they need.
I'm gonna say they've got a lot of young strikers that still need a little bit of molding, right? Outside of CJ Sapong, who can mold himself at this point. He's not a bad option to have on, especially for wingers as well. He fills a lot of holes. I wonder if Alex Mawil is out the door now.
If he is, that's someone that I feel like a lot of teams should keep an eye on, because you could probably get him for a really good price, and he would do a really good job for them. All right. Anyway, outside backs. I'm just going to start off right off the bat and say Claudia Bravo. Absolutely. I would consider him to be in just the best 11 outright. Like, even if you're just keeping 3 at the back, I would probably swap out Miles Robinson and put Claudia Bravo in. I think he had a really strong season, very under the radar. I know we're not considering playoffs, but obviously his team made the run all the way to the Cup Final. So yeah, I think obviously his first season in the league really came out with a bang. I think because he plays outside back, he doesn't get the recognition that he deserves for it, but very strong year. I will say on the right side, I would actually put Kyle Duncan there.
Oh yeah.
I think Duncan had a very strong year. Criminal that Red Bull just let him walk for free, like jail time.
Do you want me to go? You want me to go? I could do it.
No, we'll save that for another episode.
Word.
We'll save it for another episode. But yeah, Duncan had a really strong year again, as I predicted, of course. Go listen to the last episode if you want some proof of that. But yeah, Duncan was really good this year, really strong, just as he was in the year before that. So it's no surprise to see him move on to Europe. It's disappointing because obviously he was great talent for the league, but yeah, those two would definitely be in my team. I would say honorable mentions to Andy Nahar. While I don't think DC was the best this year and was kind of like all over the place, I do think Andy Nahar had a strong season, which isn't surprising because we know he's talented, especially in this league. I would say, do you count Julian Gressel as an outside back? I don't know where he was playing this season, so I don't really know.
Him and Buchanan feel that weird.
Yeah, I'm not going to include him there. I'm going to kind of like group these two together. I'm going to say DeJuan Jones and Brandon Bai. Definitely considering outside back spots. I mean, supporter shield, record points in a back line that was pretty strong throughout the entire season. And I will end it with the cherry on top of outside backs, everybody's favorite USMNT player, Kellen Acosta. There's definitely some names I left out here, but I mean, I could go on for a while. There were a lot of good outside backs this season. I mean,
outside backs have
Kai Wagner.
Outside backs have consistently been criminally underrated in the best 11.
Agreed.
Kyle Duncan, Claudio Bravo are two prime examples of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Bai, DeJuan Jones, both of them draft picks that broke the points record. Both fantastic, and DeJuan Jones is getting lots of looks overseas as well. Julian Araujo, definitely in that conversation as well. And I obviously Kai Wagner as well. Kind of the staple of left backs this year and for the last few years. Julian Gressel, I'm going to leave for midfield.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, but Duncan, Bravo, Brandon Bai, DeJuan Jones, Kai Wagner, and Julian Araujo are kind of like my 3 on either side that I think should have been in the conversation.
Center backs?
Yes, I am responding. MLS Gone Wild and I are having a conversation on Twitter, and he wants to collab next season. So if you're listening to this, my friend, we are in, and we look forward to next season working with you very closely.
Yeah, just so you know, when you're talking, I'm keeping track on Twitter to see if any new deals come in.
So am I.
So I apologize if I'm not looking, but it is for the greater good. All right, so I'll kick off while you respond. I'll kick off the center back conversation.
Sure.
So obviously, 3 center backs made the best 11 team: Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman, and Yeimar Gomez Andrade. I will say off the bat, I think Zimmerman and Gomez Andrade definitely should be in the conversation. I would like if you were going to keep it 3 center backs across the best 11, I would personally still keep those 2 in there. I would probably take out Miles Robinson. I think some of that, I still think obviously he's a great player, but I do think some of that is definitely men's national team hype that he got that kind of carried him into that spot there. I would say underrated that definitely should be in the conversation is Nathan from San Jose.
Oh, yeah.
He was very good this season. I know, obviously, he was on a terrible San Jose team, and I don't believe he was here for the whole season. I think he came in late.
He came in halfway.
Yeah, thought so. I think those are 2 things as to why he wasn't in consideration, but he should be because he was very strong this season. I also think that Jack Elliott should definitely be in the conversation as well. I'd probably go Jack Elliott over Glesnes, but I think definitely a center back from the Philly back line should be in the consideration because Philly were very strong defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jack Elliott really had a strong year. As much as I don't want to admit it, Adam called it. He did.
Adam called it just for the memes. He didn't know anything about it.
Oh, no, it was totally luck. But yeah, I think strong year from Jack Elliott definitely should be in the consideration, but I still wouldn't necessarily put him in my top 3. I still think Miles Robinson should be in the conversation, but again, I wouldn't put him in my best 11 list. I think if I had to, I'd prefer to go with 4 in the back line. So if you ask me my opinion as to defensive best 11, I think it should be Bravo, Yeimar, Zimmerman, and Duncan. That would be my back 4. But if I had to throw in a 3rd center back, I'd probably actually go Nathan, honestly. Sean Nealis, I know you're going to be happy about this one, but yeah, I would consider Sean Nealis as an outside chance. I wouldn't necessarily group him in with the Nathans, the Jack Elliott's, the Yeimars, but I think he had a very quietly strong season. Austin Aaron Trusty I would say kind of in that same group as Nealis, but yeah, that's probably where I sit center back wise, I think. So kind of like a little bit of different tiers in terms of who's actually kind of in the conversation for me, but
I would absolutely not be shocked to see Nathan back here next year.
I hope so.
Actually making it.
Yeah.
No problems with either of the 3. I think you're right. I think Miles Robinson is in the same boat as Matt Turner in terms of benefiting from some men's national team hype. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Jack Elliott definitely in the conversation. If we're going to talk about Yarborough being in the Golden Glove competition only because of his back line, then somebody from his back line needs to be in this conversation. So Trusty's definitely in there. Or Lala Abubakar. They're right next to each other.
Yeah, fair.
Sean Nealis, again, if we're talking about Carlos Cornell only being there because of his strong back line, Sean Nealis has to be in that conversation. Do I think he was a best 11? No, but do I think he was a main reason that we were as successful as we were? Yes, he was as good as it gets.
Yeah.
From a guy that should not have been nearly that good. When our Aaron Long went down, we thought it was over. So very happy to see him there. Henry Kessler might be in that conversation as well, but the person who I think is outside of the conversation only because of the fact that he was with Peru for the majority of their World Cup qualifiers, Alexander Cayens is absolutely class. And I know we just had this whole conversation, but I was telling Matthew this through the entire game. I think they are in trouble whenever he decides to either move on or retire because he is absolutely class. He's so good. But yeah, so Walker, Yeimar, Nathan Jack, Trusty, Kessler, and Nealis kind of like on the outside, Abubakar on the outside, and then Alexander Kyans is like, if he played more, he's in.
That's totally fair. One name that I actually he popped up for some reason in the center back list that I'm looking at, that I wanted to mention for outside back too. I forgot to mention him, but Keegan Rosenberry. If we're going to consider Colorado back line, which I think we should, yeah, I would. I think Keegan Rosenberry deserves a shout. Not that I would put him in there again, but definitely deserves a shout.
Sure. I have no issues with that. Central midfielders.
Are we specifically like looking at central midfielders? Because I'm pretty sure most of the best 11 list is like all attacking midfielders.
Let's go all three types of midfielders, go more than 20 appearances, and we'll have a chat. Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
you can start it off.
The first one that jumps out to me is so let's talk about who made it in terms of center mids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at João Paulo, Carlos Hill. Those are your two like central players, right? I don't think Lucas Zelarayan did enough to get in. Nobody from FCC should be anywhere near this list. So Luciano Costa's out. The first name that really jumps out to me, Jordi Mihailovic. Man was like one assist away from being the leader in that category. Criminal that he hasn't had a call up yet, but that is a episode later. But he absolutely balled out with Montreal. They didn't make the playoffs, but absolutely balled out. Jack Price, obviously in that conversation as well. Big on the assists, big on being the distributor for that Colorado team that by some miracle topped the Western Conference. I just dropped my glasses because I'm a klutz. Keaton Parks. This one I'm still up in the air on. I want to see him in the January camp, but clearly NYC didn't need him, so do the men's national team. Sean Davis definitely deserves to be in there. Not top tier, but probably second tier. Oh man, that's kind of the bottom of the list there. There's nobody who jumps out at me who's like, this guy is a baller. Maybe Leon Flock, but yeah, in terms of attacking players, it's Jamiro Montero. I didn't mention him. Jamiro Montero probably needs to be in that conversation. And Jordi Mihailovic are my two like attackers. In terms of pure center mids, we're looking at maybe Keaton Parks and Sean Davis. In terms of like pure defensive mids, Jack Price, and I'll throw in Jose Martinez for Philly because that man knew how to make a tackle, I believe. No, he's not even top 10 there. Anyways, big fun fact, Yu Yakubo playing as a defensive center mid made 5.4 tackles a game in 23 games. That's wild.
Are you just looking at center mids and center defensive mids right now?
No, I put all three on there.
So attacking mids as well?
Yeah.
You're just not looking at wide midfielders at the moment?
Correct.
Okay. I feel like you're missing a name, a major name that you did not consider. And I'd be okay with it if you, depending on your response here, but Damir Krylak absolutely is in this conversation.
I was going to put him at striker.
Okay. That was the reasoning I was looking for.
Yep. Everton are losing. That's why I'm not focused, because Damari Gray decided to try and do a flick up clearance, kicked it backwards, and Conor Gallagher scored.
Oh, nice. I'm on fantasy. So Damir Krylak, he's all over the place. He played, according to this, he played defensive mid, center mid, forward, and cam. So he played literally the entire spine except center back and goalkeeper.
He's the Ryan Hollingshead of the West.
Yeah, he's the central Ryan Hollingshead. Like if you just put Hollingshead, Damir Krylak, and like I don't know, Brooks Lennon on a team, like they could literally just cover your entire. I mean, that can cover your entire team. No, Kellen Acosta. Sorry.
Kellen Acosta, yeah, how dare you? I was just about to say, how dare you? Disrespect.
Kellen Acosta is the head coach, player/coach. Anyway,
No,
I would
Benny
consider
Ball is a head
Krylak.
coach because then he can do that
That's
without losing
true.
his mind.
Oh, that's Benny Ball's dream.
Tell me, bro, I'm surprised he didn't get them all on the same team in the first place. All right, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. Sorry. So I would personally put Krylak in the midfield. I think he played more so in the midfield than he did as a striker, but I understand that conversation.
Sure.
I would absolutely put him like first tier outside of best 11. I think
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%.
He was so strong this season. He carried RSL to the playoffs. I know he had some help from Usnak, who is definitely strong, especially towards the end of the season, but I mean, he carried them to that 7th seed and then got them through Seattle. So I definitely think that he deserves to be in the conversation. Again, I wouldn't pick him. I think João Paulo deserves to be in that best 11. I think I would probably just keep it as João Paulo in terms of like center mids and center defensive mids. I think some of the people that you mentioned definitely had strong years. I think Atuesta probably had a quietly strong year. Madron probably just because he's on Chicago, but I think he had also a strong year. Roldan. So definitely other names that are worth being in the conversation. I don't think any of them get into the best 11 though, other than João Paulo. And then in terms of just looking at attacking mids, because I think this is where more of the names get in the mix, Heel obviously deserves to be in there. Whether you think he deserved to win MVP or not, he deserves to be in the best 11 for sure. Hani Mukhtar absolutely deserves to be in the best 11, in my opinion. And I think in your opinion, he was our MVP. So of course your MVP is going to be in the best 11.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Zelarayan, I think, is spot on. I think he should be in the conversation. If you just looked at his second half of the year, I think he's probably in the best 11. But I think because he was a bit quieter at the start of the season, probably keeps him out just a little bit. I agree. I don't think anybody from FCC should be in the list. So Lucia Costa's out. I would say outside honorable mention, not really in the honorable mention mix, but I think Jesus Ferreira had a really strong year. He was like, if Ricardo Pepi is Batman, he was Robin. I mean, he was like right there with him.
Sure, I had him as a kind of like a striker too.
That's fair. Jordy's definitely a good conversation. I think Jamiro Montero should definitely be in the honorable mention mix. He had a very strong year. Jack Price, Maxime Morales, definitely as well in the conversation. Probably a little bit below where I would put like Montero and Zelarayan and stuff, but I think Reynoso should also be in the conversation. I know in terms of goal contributions, it was really low year for him, but it seemed like he was very influential while he was out on the field, despite the fact that he wasn't putting up a ton of goal contributions. So that's where I kind of sit on those like central midfielders. I'm sure we're going to look at the wide ones.
There aren't many. So I'm just looking through what Extra Time had put out.
Mhm.
In the midfield, Anibal Godoy made their first team. They also did a 4-3-3.
Did they put Anibal Godoy on their
second
11?
Team had Christian Roldan, Matt Polster, Emmanuel Reynoso. I don't know about Reynoso.
When you say first team, do you mean like first team all snub or something?
No, this is just so their first team all snub is Roldan, Polster, Reynoso. So they made four best 11.
They put Godoy in their best 11 list.
Correct. They love Nashville.
What do you think about that? I think that's a pretty bold statement.
Jack Price and Diego Chara made their third team. Dax McCarty, Keaton Parks, and Albert Rusnak made their fourth team. And Sean Davis is nowhere near there. So this whole thing is a mess. In terms of center, we can go center backs because the goalkeepers we hit on. They had Coronel, Kripo, Blake, and Turner. No Joe Willis, criminal. Center backs, Fontas and Yamar. So Fontas from SKC. He was good. Was he first team all no?
They didn't put
Second best
Zimmerman in their
team,
first team.
Trusty, Zimmerman, Elliott.
Wow.
Third was Robinson and Nealis. Fourth was Rosenberry, Glesnes, Farrell. When it comes to outside backs, Herrera and DeJuan Jones in the first team. Bro,
Okay.
Julian Gressel and Daniel Lovitz.
Oh, okay.
Alex Roldan and Kai Wagner. Graham Zusi and Andrew Gutman. No mention of Kyle Duncan anywhere.
I didn't hear any mention of Claudia Bravo either.
No mention of Claudia Bravo either.
How do you not put Claudia Bravo and Kyle Duncan in any of your teams at outside back? That's criminal.
I mean, listen, we clearly understand the league better than they do.
That's insane. Yeah, these are some interesting lists.
Yeah, I'll go back to that in a little bit. Just a quick.
It sounds like this first team that they made up, this like their best 11 sounds like a mess. Can you share? Did you share this in the group?
No, but if you just go to.
Is it on the Twitter?
If you go to their Twitter and then hit media, it's pretty close down there. While you look at that, we will go ahead and move on to our outside midfielders, which really there's not too much of a conversation here. It's just Alex Mawil like 9 times. So there aren't a lot of wingers here. So the only conversation that we might be able to have is like based on if they provided any real like goals or anything like that. So Daniel Shallowey obviously is a massive snub in this list. I think we all can agree to that. He was in the MLS MVP running and did not make this list. Johnny Russell had 15 goals. That's not something to sneeze at. Dyrone Espria with 10 and Fafa Picot with 10. That doesn't do it for me. So I'll say Shallowey and Johnny Russell probably should be in that conversation. And then if we look at assists, it's just Shallowey and Russell again. Those are the only two I'd consider bringing in. And then if we're going to consider Tajon Buchanan in there and Julian Gressel, I'd put Gressel in that list. And Tajon Buchanan already made that list. So again, MLS, not a great league for wingers. They're more central and wing back and whatever. But you can't leave out Johnny Russell, Daniel Shallowey. Johnny Russell had 22 goal contributions. That's wild. Daniel Shallowey had 23. And his team could get out of round 1.
Yeah. One name that I forgot to mention for midfielders, by the way, Christian Casares should be in the conversation as an honorable mention. Not first ballot honorable mention, but he should definitely be. I think you're doing him dirty. He was your heart and soul of your team.
Yeah, for like 2 months, and then when we needed him most, he forgot how to play.
Yeah, you can't. We're not taking into consideration the playoffs.
No, I know, but he wasn't there for the first half. It was Caden Clark's show. Then he got hurt. Then we went like 9 games without scoring or something stupid like that. And then he decided to hit some bangers. I don't know.
You guys would not have made the playoffs without him.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that at all. But
all right, so wingers, I think. Yeah, I would definitely throw Russell and Shallowey in the conversation. No question. If I were to take anybody out of the best 11 team, I mean, if we're just going off their standards, it seems like you could just throw any midfielders. You don't actually have to make a team. I probably would have subbed Tajon out for someone else in the midfield. Because I don't think I'd take out Heel, João Paulo, maybe João Paulo. And I definitely wouldn't take out Hani. I still think Tajon is in the conversation. And if you have to throw like a winger in there, I definitely have no complaints with him being in there. I think Fragapane should be in the conversation. I know he didn't play enough games to really get serious consideration because he came in like halfway, but he was super strong for Minnesota this season. And if that is any indication as to what's to come next season, I think Minnesota could be very dangerous, especially if Reynoso starts to really kick off.
Sure.
I think
Him, Hunu, and Reynoso can have a really good time.
Yeah. I think Dejome had a strong year as well with Vancouver. Yimi Chara, I will always consider in the conversation because I think he's very underrated.
Okay. I can give you that.
I don't think I would consider Espria really in the conversation. Well, I'd throw him maybe like at the back end of the conversation, but I wouldn't really have serious considerations with him making best 11. But yeah, I would say it's probably Tejan, Gressel, Russell, and Shallowey is my like 4 in the consideration.
Yeah. I'm about it there. Finish this up with the strikers.
Yes, sir.
All right. Castellanos, Bo, Rui Diaz, top 3 goal scorers, top 3 in the list, right? Adam Buxa has 12 goals in 1,800 minutes. That man is unreal. Definitely putting him in there. Ricardo Pepi probably has to be in there. Same thing, 12 goals in just a little bit more time. Listen, you can't shake your head at me when he's played 35 more minutes than Buxa and has the same number of goals.
I mean, if we want to play the goals to minutes game, then DK is in there over both of them.
You didn't let me finish. I was going to throw him in there. But it's all for nothing because Brian White takes the cake.
I'll wait patiently.
Yeah, you're damn right you're going to wait. You're going to listen to me.
All right, go ahead.
Pepe, Buxa, Brian White. I'm going to put him in there, DK, because you're going to cry if I don't.
I'm not going to cry if I don't.
And number 5, actually, I'm going to go 5 and 6. CJ Sapong and Gonzalo Higuain. Fight me.
Sure. Okay.
Gonzalo Higuain had 18 goal contributions in 28 games. How are you going to tell me no?
Because I am going to tell you no.
You're wrong. Your hair's off point.
I'm going to start off by saying that I don't think Rui Diaz should be in the best 11 list. Like,
whoa, hold on.
I would take him out 100%. And I would put Shallowey in there so quick over Rui Diaz in the best 11.
Dude, you understand that if he didn't get hurt, this dude was smashing goal scoring records, right?
I know that, but he did get hurt. So then he missed a bunch of games.
15 goals in 23 games. 15 goals in 2,000 minutes, yeah? A goal every 133 minutes. Where's Daniel Shallowey at? Daniel Shallowey. 2,216. A goal 137 minutes. Not better.
What was Rui Diaz?
Rui Diaz 133.
Yeah, so they're basically the same, except the difference.
Basically the same didn't work for DK and Pepe, but or Pepe and Buxa, but apparently it works when it's Connor's choice.
It's in terms of, I mean, Pepe and DK were not even close in goals per minute. The difference is Shallowey has 7 more assists than Rui Diaz, so I'm putting Shallowey in there instead of Rui Diaz. Just saying.
If we're going goal to minute contributions, it's Ola Kamara, and it's Ola Kamara by a million miles.
Oh yeah, but that's because he had like 8 penalties this season. It really helps.
Yeah, I know. You would know anything. You would know all about that.
Doesn't matter.
That's what we like to hear.
You could take away the penalties, you'd probably still win Golden Boot.
Wow.
I'm not saying Rui Diaz shouldn't be in the conversation. I'm just saying I wouldn't put him in my best 11. It would be Shallowey. I think. Listen, if you're going to make the injury argument, I would put Chicharito over Ruiz.
Chicharito was on my honorable mention list as well.
I know, but I'm just saying I would put him over Ruiz. And if we're talking goals per minute, then Aranjo is my MVP of the season because he literally had a goal every 100 minutes.
Okay.
It was insane. He was so good.
I no disagreement. I mean,
I think I would put Pepe at like the back end of my conversation for MLS Best 11.
I wasn't making him a first ballot snub.
No,
I'm not sitting here saying he was.
Yeah, because he's not.
No.
I don't even think I would consider it Gonzalo. Well, I don't know. No. I refuse to put Gonzalo Higuain in my conversation.
Man, that's poor.
No, I won't do it. I'd rather put CJ.
He had the same number of goals as Josef Martinez.
I'm not putting Josef in my conversation.
No, this is what I'm saying. I go, listen, you talk about how Josef Martinez is Atlanta's savior.
Not this season.
Josef,
listen, he's got the same number of goals. He has 800 less minutes played than Gonzalo Higuain. And Higuain, I'm pretty sure, was their penalty taker too.
Oh my God.
I understand. Higuain has 8 more assists.
You and your crying
so
over penalties are going to make me have a heart attack one day.
If I'm considering attackers here and like strictly just strikers, I'm considering Tati, Rui Diaz, Buxa, Bo, Chicharito. And that's 5 names already. I'd make the argument you should. A part of me wants to make the argument that I would look into Aranjo before I would Higuain.
Araujo will be there next year.
What?
Araujo will be there next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'm gonna give 6. I'm gonna give 6 names, 2 striker spots or whatever, right?
Okay.
Chicharito, Ola Kamara, Adam Buxa, Brian White, CJ Sapong for Nashville, Gonzalo Higuain, and then if I had to pick a 7th, it would be Ricardo Pepi, and then DK would be next to him too.
So you're not even considering Bo?
No, of who didn't make it. Yeah, it's the 3 plus, the 6 backups or whatever.
Okay, I would go Kamara, Chicharito, Rui Diaz, Buxa, Aranjo.
Rui Diaz is in there though.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Boo.
Kamara, Chicharito, Buxa, Bo, Aranjo.
Was in there too. Will you just pull this thing up? Like what?
I do have it up. I just keep forgetting for some reason. All right, so then Kamara, Chicharito, Aranjo. Yeah, I'm gonna have to consider Gonzalo Higuain in that case.
Let's go.
I would go CJ Sapong. And I'll go Pepe as the last one, but I'm considering I was between him. No, scratch that. Take out Pepe. I'm going Brian White.
Thank you. Somebody who might be here next year if he turns his career around, Ethan Zubak from LA Galaxy has been moved to Nashville SC.
Man, Nashville is busy. How much does it say? How much?
I have nothing right now, but
it was a first round pick.
First round pick. Yeah, that's probably right about. First round picks don't go for much anymore. Those are just academy players.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Ethan Zubak. He's
basically
going to be like a bench player for them. I don't know if I would have given up a first round pick. Also, I think if Charlotte's planning what?
LAFC are poised to add a new defender, Franco Escobar.
Better
has
pay
won
up.
MLS Cup and Open Cup with Atlanta. Only 26, played for Newell's Old Boy.
I'm pretty sure Atlanta just brought him back. Like, I'm pretty sure they accepted his option or something like that. So
Sebastian Lletget probably coming up next.
Oh yeah, he's rumored to go to New England, right?
Yes.
That'd be a crazy move. I was just gonna say, if Charlotte is planning on going with Cisney as their starting goalkeeper, that's not a great start.
I think it's a great decision.
I don't think Cisney is that good.
We have had this conversation already.
Yeah.
So before we'll have conversations all day about this,
I
but
know.
for the episode, I think we're done. I think we've listed out some of our people who got snubbed out of this best 11 list. You can let us know what you thought. I'm home for the next 3 weeks, so we're getting TikToks out, we're getting clips out, we're doing this for real. Let us know what you think. Make sure you're following us on all forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast, so you know when we go live. And make sure you're sharing your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, Connor, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, Daryl DK still over Ricardo Pepi.
And make sure everybody says goodbye to Connor in the comments, because he's done after all the shenanigans he's pulled today. But thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.